All right, good morning, everybody. TG Watkins here. It is July 19th when I'm recording this. Hope everybody's doing well and enjoying the summer out there. I wanted to show you guys this incredible testimonial from one of our subscribers, traders in the Moxie room. He told me that I could post this. So Brandon said that he was able to pay for his entire surgery while trading with me in the hospital recovering. So this is fantastic. I love seeing that. Number one, making money, not having to be in debt from who knows how much this thing is costing him, because we all know medical expenses are really expensive nowadays and all that. And while you're recovering, you can't do too much. You're hanging out in hospital, you're probably bored, that kind of things. So even just the entertainment of being in the Moxie room and being able to learn about stock trading, all this kind of stuff. And also, while this market is so good, he's been able to actually make some really good trades and is paying for his entire surgery. Talk about great news all the way around, recovering and making money, and now you don't have any bills. So I really, I've gotten into this business years ago. Of course, I like to make money, but now that I'm with Simpler and I have a platform and I'm getting out there and I'm able to show people how to trade and how to be successful at this, it's really amazing to actually see this stuff kind of come back like this and actually see the impact that I'm having on other people out there. I still remember to this day, another subscriber, a lady, told me that she was trading for her grandkids' college fund. No pressure or anything, but that was another incredible thing. So it is amazing to see that people are out there doing really, really well. And of course, here comes the sales pitch, but I want you guys to know we are running some specials that for the Moxie monthly. This is a low commitment. You don't have to do it 3 months at a time. This is 1 month at a time. And we do have some special classes that are coming up. Like I just finished a couple weeks ago, the leveraged ETF and some basic Moxie patterns, so you guys can combine those. This coming class we're going to be doing, I think it's in just a few weeks, we're going to be doing about how to pick good stocks. And look at Lucid. This is another one we were in before Lucid popped, so that's another thing I want you guys to know about, how we find these things before they actually get going. And then since this market is so good, and I think we're going to be in a nice strong bull market for a while, we're also going to be teaching how to look at longer term setups and trades. So remember, this is a great deal, great discount, $197. Come on in. If for nothing else, you can have some fun and talk to the rest of the Moxie crew in here that are having a great time and enjoying the trading. So with that, if you come over here, I do want to show you guys that we are having some great economic news out there. The only thing I could say about that is maybe all the good news is starting to kind of get priced in, that the market is at its highs. We did make some new highs with that. I am seeing some concerns, so I'll kind of talk about that. But of course, we are very long on this market and we're having a great time. So if you guys want to make sure that you come see these things and watch these videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And just remember that this is for educational purposes only. So we're definitely going to be talking about Lucid, and we're also going to be talking about, hey, this is the kind of market and this is the kind of environment that you're going to be seeing a lot of secondary offerings. Think about it. If the economy grows, if Trump is doing his thing and all that kind of stuff, then companies are going to want to expand. And the way they need to expand is they need to raise capital in order to expand. So how are they going to do it? Well, secondary offerings. And now is the great time to do that because stocks are up, they're worth a lot, there's a lot of buying, and if you throw out a secondary offering, it'll be absorbed pretty easily. Now, it's unfortunate for us because we get hit sometimes, but if the market is good, if the stock and the company is good, eventually that'll get absorbed and it'll move back up. We saw BKSY had one, ONDS had one, RCAT had one. I mean, just do not be surprised if you start seeing a lot of secondary offerings out there. You might get run over, but it's just par for the course, okay? Now, I also want to show you some of the great trades we've been having. GLXY Galaxy is related to crypto and Ethereum. We're up 19% on that one. If this is the leveraged ETF of Ethereum, we are not in it officially, but I wanted to track and show you guys what it's up to. 75% gain on that one from when I started to talk about it. We did get into SPET. We took some more off at 104%. This is just stock, guys, not even options. And then RCAT, 41%, straight up. We absolutely got the low on the news, the news that came out with Pete Hegseth and all that kind of stuff. And so we absolutely nailed that when that thing went up. And then SoFi, we took some more off from the leverage ETF. That's up 50%. Robinhood keeps running. We have a little piece left, but we have 164% gain on that, and that's just stock. And then Rocket Lab has also been going crazy, and we just cashed out the last of that for 122% gain. So yeah, we have been, no wonder that Brandon was able to pay for his surgery while recovering in the hospital with returns like this. So yeah, it's been wild. So let's go through here. We can talk about the indices and VIX and breadth and all that kind of stuff. I am just seeing some concerns. Okay, I just want to keep putting out there. I know I feel like the boy that cried wolf with everything that's been going on in my last 3 videos. It's like, oh, I got to be careful, but I am still going to stand by that. Okay, because yes, the market is making new all-time highs. Let's just remember, I actually just came back from the Money Show. The Money Show Symposium in Vegas. It was great. Got to see some of our simpler traders and subscribers. Got to meet some new people. Let's just remember, the market can be tricky. The last time, this is very funny, the last time that I was in the Las Vegas Money Show, I was making a presentation. Market was great, strong, felt good. And as I was there, the market was making new all-time highs. And just as it made new all-time highs, that was actually the top, and we definitely came back down. So I just want to use that as an example that just because the market is making new all-time highs doesn't mean it can't be the last high before a pullback, okay? So let's just be aware of that. Of course, the market's bullish. Of course, we're having a great time. And I will be running this thing until its legs fall off on the long side. But I don't want to be surprised by any turn onto the downside, and I think we need to understand we've had great seasonality with July, but also seasonality turns a little bit weak in August, and we're kind of getting close to there. I'll also show you guys breadth and some negative divergences and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just being aware of it. Of course, we're still making some really great trades out there, but nothing goes up forever, and we need to be prepared. Okay, so what I'm seeing here that I want to show you guys is, yes, we made new all-time highs. Okay, we'll see how this goes for the next few weeks, whatever. But I am noticing that the Moxie Indicator is now below 0. Now, we have seen this before, if you back up. And this is back when the market was still fresher, and we still had a lot of liquidation breaks that carry things up. And yes, it went higher, but notice what happened. We had a persistent inverse trampoline move, meaning the Moxie Indicator was staying below 0, and we did finally get a pullback. Okay, I know it wasn't a huge one, but it still happened, and that's why I'm saying that I'm kind of getting a little bit, we need to be aware of this. Okay, market is still very, very high, and I'm just seeing some weakness internally. Now, if we look at the RSP, this is the equal weight of the S&P. And I'm kind of seeing some negative divergences. If you look at the S&P, it's making new all-time highs, right? But look at the RSP. This is the equal weight. The rest of the 493 stocks, that index is not making new highs. In fact, it's making lower highs. Now, maybe this will recover and maybe this starts to go up. Sure, totally possible. But I am seeing that the Moxie Indicator is below 0, and this could be a topping pattern. Now, we don't know yet because it is very sideways. We had a down move, we popped up, and we've been very sideways. So now we're going to have to see, does this hold and go up, or does this kind of chop around and do we start coming down? That's kind of what the next few weeks are going to be like. Again, as I say, we're going to be coming into some bearish seasonality, and I think that the market could really use a rest and a break. I've been begging for some sort of longer term pullback in order to keep this market alive sometime in the future, and just trying to figure out the timing on that. I just don't want to be surprised if the market starts to turn tail on us, and so I'm just kind of putting those warnings out there. If you look at the IWM, you can see here it is also very much in this range, and it's right here. It kind of looks to me like this might be an area with it's going to start running into resistance and have some issues. We can also see the Moxie Indicator. As price has been moving up, notice how the Moxie Indicator keeps kind of trending lower. And once again, we have another inverse trampoline move, meaning that the Moxie Indicator is below 0. And you can see that the last few times that the Moxie Indicator has gone red, we did get a pullback, and we are red again. So I'm just being careful out there, making sure that, of course, I am going to be running these longs as long as they will give it to me. But if they start to break down, I'm not gonna be surprised by that. And if you need to take profits, which we've been doing, if you need to go short, great, you can try it, or you just need to kind of hang onto your hats and be prepared that there's going to be some pullbacks if that is in fact what's going to happen. Now we can look at the Dow. You can kind of see the same situation. Right up here, right if it's high, how much further can it go? Maybe this is a bull flag, maybe it's a bear flag, but I am seeing that the Moxie Indicator is red, and again, you can see that last time that we had them red, we did get pullbacks. Yeah, maybe we're getting a little bit of a pullback. Again, is this a bull flag? Maybe, but what if it's not? I want to be prepared, more defensive in this area, just in case. So that's the Dow, and we have the SMH. Of course, the SMH, the semiconductors, have been an absolute beast. These things have been going up like crazy. You know, NVIDIA, AMD, absolutely going crazy. And we even had Taiwan Semiconductors, good news with their earnings, and they went up. Microsoft keeps going up. You know, I get it. But things don't go up forever. Okay, I'm just kind of putting that out there, and I am starting to see that the Moxie Indicator continues to trend down, even though price continues to move up. So I'm like, okay, got to be a little bit careful out there. Keep your trades, but watch out. And if you're looking through here, on the daily chart, I am hard-pressed to find another example of where something like this has happened, where price has, especially on an index, where price has been running that daily third ATR and running the 8 EMA for this long without testing the daily 50. I cannot find another example that looks exactly like this. It's been nuts. Now, of course, we have special reasons. Of course, it's because NVIDIA, AMD, the semiconductors, because of AI. Of course, we have special reasons for this thing to be so crazy. But it is getting what seems to be a little frothy up there. Okay, so then let's kind of move on to FNGS. This is the FANG stocks. And what I'm seeing in through here, once again, even if I back up in through here, notice that price keeps going up, but notice how the Moxie indicator goes down. Yes, it bounced, but it's still down. Okay, and what I'm seeing here is another Moxie price trigger to the downside. Now, maybe this is a bull flag. Okay, if you want to say that, okay, bull flag and it's going to go higher, great. Maybe that's true. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's kind of keep checking this thing. If it keeps going higher, fine. We'll keep riding it to the long side. But what if this isn't? What if this is kind of starting to wear out a little bit, and if it starts to come down? What if, what if this comes in through here, starts to meet the 21, and then it just starts to break down a little bit? What if that happens? Well, we should be prepared for it. We want to protect ourselves, and we don't want to be surprised. So that's what I'm kind of out here talking to you guys about. Of course, it's not breaking down yet, but I want to be prepared. Look at Netflix. Now, Netflix had pretty good earnings. Okay, I heard their numbers were good and stuff like that. Okay, but look what it did. Number one, it has been pulling back. Okay, it's always been pulling back. You had a really good move. There's a little kind of blow off top here, and it's been pulling back. And then you can see here, this was a move right into a downtrending moving average. The Moxie indicator was below zero. These are the things that I don't want to kid myself about, and I want to be prepared that some of these bigger stocks are coming down. I think even Meta was coming down a bit too. Yeah, you can see, these things don't go up forever, and I want to be prepared. Right here, look at this. Look at Meta. Here is price over the hourly 50. Notice the Moxie indicator below zero. I just don't want to be surprised if the market starts coming down. Okay, so let's take a look at breadth. All right, and so if we look at breadth, this is the thing that I've been talking about for a while. It has been moving the direction that I've been concerned about, and you can see that, yes, the number of stocks over the 20-day SMA has come off. The number of stocks over the 50-day SMA has come off. We did get a little bit of a bounce, but this is trending lower. What this tells me is a couple things. Number one, there are fewer stocks going up. So the number of stocks for us to choose from that are still in uptrends is starting to become less. We have fewer things to choose from. What this also tells me is that things are starting to come down. Okay, now the market, of course, is still holding up, and okay, but there are fewer stocks moving up, and that means that most likely eventually this weakness will work its way up the food chain, and eventually the index will start to see it. So, it's been amazing how strong that this market is. There has been a lot of rotation. They're selling off the names that have been up really high. They're putting it into new, fresh names, or some of the big ones like Robinhood just keep going up. That's totally fine. We have been really doing well in this market, but I am just watching these things and saying, hey, things are starting to show some signs of weakness. Of course, as I said, I've made the last 2 videos talking about this, and it's been taking forever for any of that, but Netflix, Meta, we are starting to see some stuff come down out there. And then let's take a look at the UVIX, and we can take a look at the VIX. Now, if you go back and look at this, I was talking and seeing some sort of setup here, and remember, if these things go up, that means the market goes down. I did see a setup right here, and hey, look, the market went down, UVIX. I was right. I actually had a call credit spread on the market, and this is when the Jerome Powell and Trump news. It was like total BS news, whatever, but it did take the market down. And I was plus 50% on my call credit spread when this happened. I was in Vegas. I was in my hotel room. I was on the mic. I was actually getting ready to go do my presentation. I should have taken it. I did not exit. I did not cash in my plus 50% gain on that because, well, the market was doing exactly what I wanted it to do. And then I had to go leave, and next thing I know, the market had bounced and gone up. So I did actually have to get out of that call credit spread for minus 50%. So, hey, can't be perfect. But that was just one of the frustrating things because it was totally doing everything I wanted. And then it turned tail because, well, this market's still very strong. But what I am noticing is this does not want to go down. Even though the market has made new highs, the UVIX is not going down. Now, I don't see any immediate signals yet. I saw it last week, but not this week yet. So we're going to just keep watching this thing and seeing if anything sets up. But I'm kind of on a hair trigger with this. And if you look at the VIX, it's kind of the same thing. If we kind of looking through here, it is not going down. And in fact, maybe you could even say that there is a inverse head and shoulders, and you could see that the Moxie indicator is trending up. So I'm just aware of what's happening with this thing, and we'll have to see if there are any new fresh setups and signals that start to present themselves. Now, if we get into some of the really great names, let's talk about Lucid. And remember, we were running that special if you guys want to come over and check these things out because we made 2 trades in Lucid before it moved. And if you were wondering how I do this, come on into the Moxie room. You guys can be making some money while you're trading in a hospital room or something like that. But if you look at Lucid, hey, there have been 3 examples where price did not want to go below $2. But before that happened, we actually took our first trade right there, and then I could tell that this thing was starting to get ready, and I said, hey, I think something's here. So I told everybody, let's go in, let's get some more, do some stock. I told you guys some options that you could look at. You could even do the leverage ETF of that. And then news came out that they were going to be working with Uber, and they're going to be doing robo taxis with Lucid. So huge news, and I think this is now game on for Lucid. I think this is the thing that is going to get Lucid out there. Of course, we know they're still a small company, but I think some Tesla people are probably moving over to Lucid. I think that now if Lucid has robo-taxis, think of free advertising. You're going to get people in your car experiencing what a Lucid is, and now they're going to be like, wow, I like this. And now I think that their production is going to start moving up. Plus, I mean, look, I think it was a $20,000 unit order from Uber, and then maybe it just keeps expanding if it keeps working. So this is massive news. Look at the amount of volume that came into this thing. Of course, Lucid, it could pull back. Maybe it needs to digest this gap, but generally speaking, I think this now puts Lucid on the board, and now I think Lucid is a bullish stock and has proven that it doesn't want to go lower, and I think it's got only growth ahead of it. All right, that's really, really fun stuff. All right, let's talk about GLXY. This is an Ethereum type play, and I actually chickened out on this one at one point. We got in here, got out here for a small gain. I was like, Ethereum and all this stuff is really going up, but this thing's just not going. The other miners are going up, but this thing's not going. I was like, maybe it's not doing anything. Well, while I was in Las Vegas that morning, just before I hopped on the mic, I saw that this thing was starting to rip. And I was like, oh my gosh, it is actually working. And I said, let's get back in. So we jumped back in here, and now we're up here, and what are we up? Like 20%. So yes, now we're up 20%. It's doing well. Very happy about it. And this is where you get in, you get out. Hey, you got to make some decisions, and this is where we jumped into it. Look at the volume that's coming into this thing. Now, of course, maybe it's getting a little extended near term. I wouldn't chase it. Maybe it's going to pull back, but I like what's happening here. How about SBET? I heard SBET did something like they bought $6 billion, or maybe it's 6 million. I don't know. There was a 6 and there was a lot of numbers behind it where they bought more Ethereum. So maybe that was a little bit of a debt, and that's why it came down. But we got in here. We took profits here, and we took more profits here, and then it pulled back. I think this is perfect trading. We did really, really great with this, and this is 104% just stock from when we got in. And I kept telling everybody, I said, hey, we should expect a pullback. And lo and behold, got that pullback. Now we'll have to see how far this thing wants to come down. Massive volume that's coming into this, and we're just enjoying ourselves with SBET. It's been doing great. So we'll see if we can find a place to add more at some point. And then, we get big moves like Archer. This is another thing. Gosh, look at Joby, too. I did not see Joby doing what it did. But I said, all right, well, we know drones are going to be hot, and we know Joby's doing great. So you kind of put the intersection of the two of them. I've been watching this for a while. We got in right here. That was an absolutely perfect entry. You can see there's the Moxie price trigger, and this thing skyrocketed up here. Now, this kind of reminds me of one of the new subscribers that is in the Moxie room. She's been asking me about this ticker, that ticker, and whatever, and more than half of them, she was like, hey, can I get in up here? I was like, oh, no, you can't. That's kind of risky. That's not really the place you want to get in. That's like getting in up here or getting here or getting here. Those are not the places that you want to get in. And what it told me, and we had a nice conversation while I was on the mic with her, I said, hey, it seems to me you're seeing what's happening here. You maybe got some FOMO. You see this market just going crazy, and you're missing out on things. You're like, oh, I can't. I just want to get into these names. But you still have to find your right spots, because if you look here, even though this thing continued to go higher eventually, these were not the right spots to get in. And this is where it said people still need education. They need to be shown and taught like where the right stuff is to get in. I know how that is. Of course, I'm not perfect, but like most of the time we get some really good trades. And so if you guys are finding yourself not finding the proper entries on these things, come into the Moxie room. I'm on the mic every day. You guys get great access to me. I talk about it. I teach you. I show you all these things. And then you can start taking these trades live with me. And in addition to that, I'm going to do a specific class showing you guys the kind of entries and how to find the right stocks out there, and these clues that I like to show people and say, this is the reason why we are succeeding. Okay, so come on over. We're running those specials. I'd love to see you in there. And if you look at something like Joby, holy moly, wow. I was trading Joby all the way back down here. Of course, it pulled back, but then, boy, I just did not see that Joby was going to go crazy like this. So, hey, we're in Archer, okay? We're having a good time with that one. We do have a leverage ETF for Archer, and we're in that, but it is great to see what Joby is doing. This is really showing what kind of market is out there. Absolutely fantastic. And then you can even see Rocket Lab was another one that we traded right in through here, and we have been in Rocket Lab since down here. We took some profits here, and then I fully exited up there. Okay, this is great trading out there, guys, and I want to make sure you don't miss out on this kind of stuff. In fact, if you look at Hood, here's Robinhood. Now, we took the leveraged ETF of Robinhood, and we originally, I think we got in, like, I don't know, somewhere around there, and then we've been just trading this thing up here. Now I have a little bit of a piece left up here, and I would not be surprised if we start to see this thing pull back. Okay, it's getting a little bit frothy up there. It has been an amazing move, and things don't go up forever. And I would love to see this thing actually pull back for any length of time, so that we can actually get back in at some time in the future. And then if you look at SoFi, same thing here. We had a fantastic trading time with this one. We got in right here. We took some profits here, and we took some more profits there. And we actually did SOFX, which was the leverage ETF of SoFi. And you know what? These things are getting a little bit crazy up here. I feel like we should be careful, and I feel like we should start seeing some pullbacks, but of course this market just never pulls back. So we'll see. We'll see. Kind of keep your head on a swivel, as my dad always says, for being a pilot. You got to look around and make sure you're aware of your surroundings. And yeah, come on over. Remember, sorry to keep doing the sales pitch thing, but think about it. If you didn't know, if Brandon didn't know that about our marketing and didn't know about me, then he wouldn't be able to be in the hospital and make money while he's recovering. So, advertising works, guys. For everybody who found their way into the Moxie room and they're happy that they are there, marketing works. And so I just want to let you guys know we are running a special here, simplertrading.com/Moxie monthly, $197. Come on over, and it's going to be a great time. I'm doing a lot of new fresh classes to keep you guys, education up. All right, guys. Thanks again. See you later.